somewhere there's three people doing foodie chat going, thank God we've got our Monday at 8:30 slot back or whatever. And bloody quizzes came along and they took it from us, and now Nigella is seizing it back.
I think when the scribes write about this period of history, I'm sure they'll mention the pandemic. That'll get a few notes, I'm sure. But I think when people really start to dig into this period, they will refer to the great Nigella scheduling disaster of 2020. I've never seen such a program. Well, I mean, but I have seen such a program on social media. I mean, it's about quiz and it's on social media, so I've seen lots of it. It really has been startling how much people have been sort of thrown out of their usual schedule by having Nigella on at 8 o'clock. It really seems to have upset a lot of people.
Absolutely. The comments saying, I tuned in for Only Connect and I'm getting Nigella, whatever. Yes, lots of that. And you have to wonder what they're thinking. I mean, if you're watching schedulers, what the hell were you thinking? All I can imagine is the Quizzy Mondays are built up with those 3 episodes of Mastermind, Only Connect, and University Challenge, a real momentum and a real loyal audience. And the schedulers thought, where shall we put Nigella? Where she'll get some good figures? We're getting good figures for a Monday night on BBC Two. Let's put her right slap bang in the middle of that. Not realising that they break up the very thing that makes it successful. It's just crazy. It's scheduling by accountants. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, I think it's personally, I don't have too much problem because it's Nigella. Frankly, Nigella can do whatever she wants. You know, like if I came back from the shops and I saw that the place had been ransacked by Nigella, I would have just been glad that she came to my house. So, you know, the fact that she's on at 8 o'clock doesn't bother me quite so much. And especially now because, you know, people watch iPlayer. You know, like I've not seen an episode of University Challenge go live for ages, you know, because of sort of whenever my work schedule in London and all that. However, I think the problem is that it is the principle of it. And that idea of like a quiz is just an easy thing to put on the schedule at any time. You know, it's like, you know, for any Frasier fans out there, it's like, oh, let's just put on the best of Crane because, you know, Frasier's gone off to, you know, flambe some cherries or something daft. And it's that idea like if a quiz, you undermine your own brand, I think, is the thing whenever you just bung in a show, even if it is something fantastic like Nigella making toast or whatever it is. It's, you know, if you cultivate something and then people respond to it and then very easily suggest that this is dismantleable and, you know, quizzes are just something to bung on at any time when you got a bit of a gap, then that is a bit of a shame. And it does sometimes suggest that maybe quizzes aren't the most loved or the most valued thing on a TV schedule. I mean, let's remember it wasn't too long ago that Only Connect and Mastermind were shunted round to a Friday night. And they quickly realised the folly in that. But there is something in the, you know, it's, on one level, I do feel a bit sorry that Nigella's got, you know, all us nerds up in arms. But I think there is certainly at the root of it, there is a real concern that these things are not as valued as they should be. And there is tremendous value in that block of quiz shows on a Monday.
I mean, I wonder whether it might be a generational thing where people like yourself are actually less bothered about it because you're not watching it live. It's not the cornerstone of your Monday night. But for others of us who like to be creatures of habit and watch certain things at certain times, and let's face it, there might be a few quizzers who like routine.
I hadn't thought of that.
But for us, it's a very disruptive thing. But I don't know, maybe Shanine, I don't know. For you, has it mattered a damn? Or
not particularly. Again, similar to Paddy, I'm not watching TV live. My controversial view is that maybe it serves as a nice palate cleanser. I think 3 quizzes in a row is a bit much, really, particularly if you're going full on and I'm going to answer everything. Like, I wouldn't do that in the league. I wouldn't do that many quizzes. So I am going to say that maybe it breaks it up nicely. You've got that nice watching Nigella be lovely, and then you can do another quiz. So that's going to be my slightly controversial. But I do agree with Paddy. I do think there is a particularly an air that evening quizzes aren't important. I think increasingly TV quizzing is seen as a tea time thing. So they will not mess about with Pointless. They won't mess about with Eggheads. They wouldn't treat those quizzes in the same way, or Richard Osman's House of Games, for example. But I do think there's an air of, where we can kind of mix around the evening schedule a bit. And it's a weird person to do it with, because Nigella could get viewers at any time of the week. You know, she's not someone who needs to leap on to other rating success because she's Nigella. So I do think the logic is a bit weird, but I do wonder if someone did think, maybe people are a bit quizzed out after Mastermind and University Challenge. Let's have a nice Nigella break with some cooking.
I love
spill on into Only Connect.
I love the fact that you think they're doing it for our own good there, Shanine. That's such a wonderful faith in humanity that I don't share when it comes to BBC schedulers, because I think having been mucked around by them multiple times in the past, like, your broadcast date for this show is X. And then I got a letter once, the day after the show had actually been broadcast, say, we're changing the date. It's like, what the hell? Schedulers aren't my best friends.
It's certainly not a consideration when I think they're making the shows. Whereas I think with the Nigella thing, it was very much, we need to get this out in the run up to Christmas. And that was just their thinking. And that was probably the slot they could kind of move around because everything else was pretty much pre-recorded. But I think there is a thing. If they want that to be a brand, then they can't mess around with it. And if it's not a brand, just say, right, we're going to just chuck on quizzes whenever we like and just be upfront about it and say we're still making them, but there is not going to be that logic to our scheduling, because let's face it, there probably never has been. It just ended up fitting quite nicely, and that's how Quizy Mondays happened.
I think therein is the rub as well. I mean, I think that certainly from my own kind of memory, that at one point Nigella used to have a slot. I think it used to be in the days before Only Connect, it was on BBC Two. I think Nigella used to be on Mondays at 8:30. And so I think it's probably one of those things where, like, Nigella kind of has an historical claim to a Monday night. And so people like that. And so then it becomes, unstoppable force and a movable object, that sort of thing. The thing, though, that I was annoyed about was that when, this is a while ago now, but when Only Connect and University Challenge flipped. Because in my mind, you talk, Gareth, about routine. 8:00 Monday nights for University Challenge. That was the thing, and that was the time that you checked in for it. And so I have to say, I'm not dying about Only Connect going first. I sort of feel like University Challenge going first, and then Only Connect bringing it home feels like the more natural way. So that's so it was funny. I'd not really thought of it for a while until Shanine brought it up, and then it's sort of like this, embers within me sort of started relighting, and it's like, it's an injustice, damn it.
So now I've got visions after you've said about Nigella that there's somewhere there's 3 people doing foodie chat going, thank God we've got our Monday at 8:30 slot back, or whatever it is. And bloody quizzes came along and they took it from us, and now Nigella is seizing it back, and before you know it, there'll be 2 fat ladies, and there'll be, actually no, there won't be 2, 1 fat lady. And they'll be repopulating Monday, and quiz will be driven off into the distance.
I think, this time next year, it'll be Foodie Mondays, it'll be Nigella, it'll be Sophie Dahl, and it'll be somebody we've not expected. It's like, oh, Jack Sugden from Emmerdale's a chef now. That's cool. and the quizzes will be shunted off until like 1 a.m. or something like that. That's my 2021 prediction.
Thank you for watching this video on All Things Quiz. If you like this video and want to see more like it, then please click subscribe. To your left, you can see some suggestions of videos you might like. And if you want to discuss anything you've seen on All Things Quiz, or perhaps volunteer to get involved in one of our challenges, then why not join the All Things Quiz Facebook group?